so good as breakfast with Christ on the shore. Breakfast will never be better than this, than breakfast with my risen Lord. After an evening of fishing gone bad, Peter and crew felt dismay. Then seeing a man on the shore up ahead changed everything that fateful day. Friends, have you caught?
I'm Pastor Colson, and today I'm joined with
Jan Crouthamel.
with Victory 127. And Lake of the Woods Church has just a deep love and a long commitment with Victory 127. We love you, Jan. We love what you and Pastor Herbert are doing. So tell us a little bit more for the viewers who aren't familiar with Victory 127. Tell us what you do and where you're ministering.
Thank you so much, Pastor Colson, for just having us here today. We're incredibly grateful for our partnership with Lake of the Woods and so much that you do for our ministry. We are Victory 127. We provide food, shelter, and education for children and families in need. And we partner very specifically with Pastor Herbert Biondo and the Victory Covenant Ministries in the outskirts of Kampala, Uganda. The victory from Victory 127 comes from Victory Covenant Ministries that they administer over there. And then the 127 comes from James 127, where it says, religion that God the Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. So that's really the verse that has compelled us to come alongside and help Pastor Herbert and his team in their mission to help the forgotten children of Uganda. I'm the director of Victory 127, and I have been since the inception of the ministry in March of 2013. So that just basically means that I am responsible for the day-to-day operations of our ministry here stateside. And I also serve with the stewards team, which is our board of directors. We call them our stewards. And together we meet monthly for planning, for encouragement, for just mostly prayer time, as we try to look for ways that we can be of more help and that we can be more efficient and effective in our ministry. And then this was just an assignment that God gave me about 7 years ago that has become truly the passion of my heart.
Wow. I love the ministry, and I love the history of how it came to be and how God spoke to your heart. Can you give us an update on the work that's going on?
One of our big projects that we've been working on is Victory Primary Schools. So we've had a school for many years there, but they've been meeting in the corners of the church building, and we knew that we needed to provide them facilities to match the excellence of the teaching that they were doing there. And so we launched a couple of years ago our plan to build Victory Primary School. So phase one of that school consists of 3 classrooms, bathrooms, and a kitchen, which were very needed. Our kitchen there was an open fire in a tin shack, and the bathrooms were just a latrine, and they had no classrooms. They were just using the corners of the church. So this has been a real passion project too. So we finished that first floor of Victory Primary School last year, and then rolled right on to construction of the second floor. And so I'm excited to tell you that we just completed the second floor, phase 2 of this project, just last month. So we now have 4 additional classrooms on the top floor of the school, and we are so excited to just give our kids a good place to study.
Pastor Herbert has a real special place in the hearts of all of us here at Lake of the Woods Church. Can you give us an update on how he's doing?
He's doing well. Pastor Colson, he is probably one of the busiest people I've ever seen. I've made 3 trips to Uganda now and spent, about 10 days with him each time. And I have just marveled at the pace at which he goes from early in the morning till late at night, and so many people looking to him for help. And he has a unique story, and I know he shared it with a lot of your friends there at Lake of the Woods, but he was one of those forgotten children in Uganda. He had a witch doctor for a father, and he lived a a life that was full of abuse and instability and was passed from person to person. Just so many atrocities have happened in his lifetime, and he was one who was not able, he didn't have the funds to go to school, because in Uganda, if you don't have money, you can't get an education, and so you're basically out on the streets. And so he was always trying to pay his own way through school, and he went from this person to that person. So he knows each one of these kids that we are ministering to are from extreme poverty conditions, and they have no hope, and they have no opportunity for education. And Herbert has made it very clear to us that education is the way for these children to be able to break that cycle of poverty. So he has such a compassionate heart for these kids who have no way to go to school and no way to better themselves. So that's why he's so passionate, and that's why he works so many hours a day to help not only the kids, but the people that he's ministering to in his church. And then he's also a bishop, so he oversees a lot of the other pastors and ministers there. But I can tell you that since the arrival of COVID-19 in Uganda, things have become much more challenging, as they have here as well. But the government had a very swift response in that they immediately sealed the borders. They closed all the schools and businesses. The only thing that is open, I think the only things allowed to be opened are utilities and food markets. And so the biggest thing too is public transportation was halted, as well as private transportation. So basically our families, our children are stuck where they are. And so even trying to get somewhere to get food has been just such a challenge. And so Herbert was able, through some friends in the government, to get a sticker on his car to allow him to move about at this time where very few people can. So he has been diligently trying to purchase food and get it to our families, because we have so many who have no income, and really what they eat is what they find today. And so we actually sent an emergency rice and beans donation the end of March to help them just with food. Every month when we send our support, we have a rice and beans fund. So whatever comes into that fund, we send that month for food, because so many are still suffering from malnutrition and starvation and just struggling to try to feed their families. So we sent another rice and beans donation the end of March, specifically to help with the virus that has come. And then we're able to send some with our April monthly support. So he's been, let's just say, incredibly busy. And not to mention that he has 17 people quarantining at his house right now with the virus. And that's been something too, is that someone who does have a place, a lot of others are coming to shelter there as well. And he is doing well, and he is praising God every day, and encourages my faith in ways I can't even explain to you.
Amen. We set up a matching grant earlier this year for Victory 127, and you shared with us an exciting story. I know the missions board have had a chance to hear this story, but would you mind sharing how God blessed that matching grant with our viewers?
Yeah, I would be happy to share that. It's so exciting. So back the end of December, we were about $2,500 short of what we needed to complete the second floor of Victory Primary School. So I had put the word out there in an email just to pray that God would provide that as we needed it. So our dear friend Dave Blackstone had contacted me and said, hey, we'd like to do a matching grant. So he said, put it out there that we will give $1,250 if that will be matched, if someone else will come forward to give that much to complete the primary school. Well, the amazing thing is that when I got that email from Dave, God had just that day provided the $2,500 that we needed to complete the primary school. So I was like, wow, praise God. This is amazing. So I said to Dave, I'm like, hey, what do you think about using your matching grant to launch our next project, which is going to be the second floor of Victory House? So let me explain a little bit. Victory House is a small apartment building that we built to house our teachers. So we needed a place for them to live that was safe, close to the school. So that first floor of that unit houses our teachers, but we needed a place to board children because one of our teachers, Diana, she has 8 children living in her small 2-room unit. And so we just have kids that have no place to be. And so we have quickly recognized, in all of our building projects, it's been what is the greatest need right now? And that's what leads us to what's next. So our greatest need right now is boarding space for our children. So that's what the second floor of Victory House is going to be. So I said to Dave, Dave, how do you feel about launching that project with that matching grant? And he said, sure, that's awesome. So I put it out there, and honestly, Pastor Colson, I can tell you that I think it was within 3 days, God had matched that. And so we were able to send that to our friends in Uganda. And so we've started our new project. We have our blocks made for the second floor of Victory House. And as soon as the blocks cure, the walls will be rising. And we're just praying for God's provision to complete that. We'd love to have that done by September so that our kids would have a place to board that don't have any other place to live.
How exciting. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story.
Well, thank you for just what you did to just get that launched. That was huge. And so we're so grateful.
Now, how can our viewers that are watching right now get involved with Victory 127? I know one way is by sponsoring a child, but can you talk about some of the ways that our viewers can participate in the ministry?
Sure. Yeah. So we basically have 5 different areas of our ministry. Sponsorship is the heart and soul of our ministry. That is where our heart is, because that $35 a month is what it costs to sponsor a child. And so for that money, you get a child off the streets and into a school. You pray for them. You write them letters. You get their school reports, and are able to just directly encourage them in ways that they need it. So sponsorship is really the heart and soul. You can go to our website, which is victory127.com, and there we have a sponsor page, and you would just go there to the sponsor form and fill that out, and then all of that information comes to me. And then when I get a new group of children, the most ideal thing and what we pray for is that we already have sponsors waiting for them. So if we have sponsors, I get a group of children, then I contact you and I say, hey, your child is here. It's like birthday. Your child has arrived. It's very exciting. Very exciting when you see children matched with their sponsors. So that's the first thing, sponsorship. I told you about our construction project. So, if that's something that you're excited about, we'd love for you to come and partner with us on that. Our second floor of Victory House is what we're focused on right now. Our higher education fund is another place that you could get involved. We're committed to those children that we have sponsored. We're committed to taking them on to higher education if they have the skill set to do that. So right now we have 6 children who are in vocational school, and we actually have one who's in medical school, Shemaya. She's amazing. So the sponsorship stays at $35 a month, but then the higher education fund basically fills in the gap for what we need to send them on to higher education. Did I tell you that we're sponsoring 141 children?
Wow, no, you didn't.
I don't know if I had mentioned that, but that's our latest number. So it's so exciting. And can I just say too, of those 141 children, Judith and Praise and Precious and Hawa and Pius are all sponsored by Lake of the Wood Church. And the Lake of the Woods Kids Club, which is a huge blessing. Hi kids, I hope some of you are watching, are sponsoring Samuel and Elizabeth, which is amazing. And then I have 2 families from Lake of the Woods who are sponsoring Alvic and Isaac Lucky. So many of these kids are just belong to you. So thank you. Thank you so much to all of your people who have been such a support and an encouragement to us in the ministry.
Jen, I'm just so impressed that you knew the children that are that we sponsor.
I could tell you all 141 if you had time there, Pastor.
That's wonderful. It's clearly a love and a passion of yours, and we're so thankful
Sure.
that we can partner. So, boy, you have just blessed us so much, and we're so thankful for you and for what God is doing. How can we, as a supporting church, pray for you specifically?
Wisdom, that would be the thing that I pray every day, that God just will give us more wisdom in how we can come alongside our friends and family there and be of more help, things we can do, ways to broaden our net, to bring more people in and get them involved to partner with us so we can accomplish more things. That would certainly be the greatest prayer for us. For our team in Uganda, pray for their protection. It's a very difficult place to live. Pray for their strength of our team that works so hard on behalf of our children. I would also ask you to just pray for our children. And if you are so inclined, on our website, on the resources page, we have a list of all of the 141 kids that we sponsor, and ones who have already graduated out of the program are still on there too. So you could print that list and pray for them by name. You know, it's pretty amazing that God knows our name.
Evening of fishing gone bad, Peter and crew felt dismayed. Then seeing a man on the shore up ahead changed everything.